All right, hello everyone. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about the notes we took on either August 11th or August 12th. And those were our multi-step equation notes that we took on page 6 of our interactive notebook. These can also be found in our class notebook on Teams. Alrighty, so multi-step equations. These are the next step up from two-step equations, which we started out with. So it's going to be a very similar process to solve these, only we're adding on 2 more steps. Okay, so let's look at our first subheading here. Combining like terms. So this means we're going to combine terms with the same variable to the same power. To do this, we add or subtract the coefficients, but keep the variable the same. So in our glossary, we also added the word coefficients. A coefficient is a number that is multiplied by the variable, aka the number that is next to your variable, whatever it may be. So to show this, we did a couple examples. So let's say we have 10x minus 2x. Now what it says, to do this, we add or subtract the coefficients. Our 2 coefficients here are going to be 10 and 2. And we have this subtraction sign in the middle. So all we're going to do is say 10 minus 2. That's going to be 8. And then we keep the variable the same. So they both have x as a variable. So our 8 is going to have x as a variable. And that's it. So let's do one more. Or 2 more in our case. So we have 8x plus 4x. All right, so they both have x's. And then we have 8 plus 4. So 8 plus 4 is 12. And then we're going to keep that variable the same to get 12x. Another example, we have 5x plus 2x minus 1. So this one's a little bit different. So let's see, we have 5x plus 2x minus 1. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but this 1 does not have a variable. Therefore, it is not a like term. Remember, like terms have the same variable to the same power. This does not have a variable on it, so it cannot be combined with the rest of these. But 5x and 2x can still be combined. So let's do 5 plus 2. That's going to be 7. Keep that x. And then since 1 couldn't be combined, we're just going to put it at the end. All right, so let's move on to solving. Solving is our next subheading here. So I figured the easiest way to do this was in steps. So that's what we have here. 3 steps to solve multi-step equations. All right, the first one is going to be distribute. Now, distributing is a concept that came up in 6th and 7th grade math and 8th grade math. And that is when you have to distribute a number that's on the outside of your parentheses to what's inside of the parentheses. And you'll see what I mean when we get to the examples. And I'm going to put a comma here and say if needed, because not every problem is going to have parentheses in it. All right, step 2 is going to be combining like terms. Combining like terms, like we just talked about at the beginning. I'm also going to put if needed because this is not needed every time either. All right, step 3. Last step is going to be isolating the variable. All this means is that we want to get x by itself. So we're going to follow those same rules that we did when we were doing two-step equations. we're going to start solving or canceling, if you want to call it that. But you're going to start trying to move your numbers around so that you can get x alone. All right, so 3 steps. Distribute, combine like terms, isolate the variable. So let's do a few examples to see what I mean here. All right, so we have 5x plus 5x equals negative 20. All right, so I'm going to take a look at those steps one more time. Distribute, combine like terms, isolate the variable. Okay, step 1, distribute. Now I'm looking at this thing. I don't see any parentheses, so I do not need to distribute. There is nothing to distribute. So let's move on to step 2. Step 2, combining like terms. Okay, so I look at this and I see that I have 2 terms that have an x in it. So we have 5x and 5x. These 2 numbers can be combined. So 5 plus 5 is going to be 10. And then we keep that variable the same, so it's going to be x. I didn't touch that negative 20 at all, so it's going to stay the same as well. All right, step 3, isolating the variable. So I want to get x by itself. I see 10 is being multiplied by x, so I'm going to do the opposite and divide by 10 on both sides. These 10s are going to turn into a 1, so it's going to leave me with x equals negative 20 divided by 10. That's going to be negative 2. So x equals negative 2, and I'm done. All right, let's take a look at the next one. So we have 3 times the quantity of 2x minus 1 equals 15. Alrighty, so we have step 1, distribute. Okay, so I'm looking at this and I do see parentheses. We have parentheses here. So what we're going to do is distribute. Like I said, that means you're going to distribute the number on the outside, that's this 3, to the numbers on the inside. That means you're going to multiply these. So I'm going to do 3 times 2x. That's going to be 6x. And then I'm going to do 3 times negative 1, and that's negative 3. All right, I did not touch that 15 at all, so I'm just going to bring it straight down. All right, now we're going to check and see if we need to combine like terms. There are no terms here that have the same variable. So let's move on to the next step. And that was isolate the variable. That's x. So I want to get x by itself now. Following our rules for the 2-step equations, I am going to add or subtract first. So I see that we have a minus 3 here. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. That leaves me with 6x. These are going to equal 0. And then we have 15 plus 3. That's going to be 18. All right, next step, I need to get rid of this 6. So it's being multiplied by x. So I'm going to divide to get rid of it on both sides. These turn into a 1. That's going to leave me with x equals 18 divided by 6 is 3. All right. Next one. This is going to be the hardest one. So we have 2x plus 5 times the quantity of x minus 2 equals 4. All right, so this one is going to involve every single step that we do. So let's get into it. Step 1, distribute. All right, so I see my parentheses are right here. So this 5 is on the outside. So I'm going to need to distribute it to everything on the inside of these parentheses. So that's going to mean 5 times x and 5 times negative 2. So that's going to be 5x and negative 10. Alrighty. Now I didn't touch this 2x at all, so that's going to come straight down. And I also didn't touch the 4, so that's going to come straight down as well. All right, step 2, combine like terms. Okay, so I look at this and I see there's a 2x and a 5x. I can combine these two because they have the same variable. So 2 plus 5 is going to be 7. Then we keep that x on there. I didn't touch that minus 10 at all, so it's going to come straight down. I didn't touch the 4 at all either. All right, step 3, isolate the variable. So I want to get x by itself. Following the rules of two-step equations, I want to add or subtract first. So I want to get rid of that 10 by adding 10 to both sides. Okay, so it leaves us with 7x. This becomes a 0. And we have 4 plus 10, that's 14. All right, then we have 7 times x. So to get rid of the 7, I'm going to divide by 7. That's going to turn these into a 1. And that'll leave me with x equals 14 divided by 7, which is 2. Okay, so I know I went through a few of these steps pretty fast, but don't forget you're watching a video, so you can always pause to see what I did. Okay, so at the bottom here, I also have 3 equations that you can practice on your own. So I would highly suggest you do that if you're not sure about these. I'm going to let you know that the answer to the first one is going to be x equals negative 7. The next one is going to be x equals 3. And the last will be x equals negative 4, in case you want to check your work. All right, so just remember, if you have any questions, always let me know in class, or you can shoot me an email or leave me a Post-it note, whatever you need to do. But you can always ask questions. All right, have a good rest of your day, y'all. Bye.